And Are You Okay is a not safe for work podcast, so any young listeners are discouraged from continuing. However, we literally have no way to track that, so do whatever the hell you want and enjoy the show.
Let's fucking go.
I work hard.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
See, that's a good announcement between us. Not my bullshit announcement where I ruined my whole summer.
It's balance. It's balance.
We balance out the four.
You know what I mean?
It's true. That's what we do here.
Oh, God.
And we didn't go into details, so actually, I can actually keep this in the podcast.
There you go. Mike got a promotion. Yeah. You're retired.
Was I ever really playing? Let's be honest.
I mean, you was like,
imagine your career is one game.
No, it's not one game. It's about 5.
Oh, okay.
I had
that senior citizen that's like worked their whole life, tried retirement, didn't work, so they got a little part-time job at the dollar store to stay busy. That was her. But then she just retired. She just retired again.
But every time I try to keep the fun, they wanted to stay, and it just kept fucking things up when I didn't say no. So
that's what it was.
Oh, God.
No, Phyllis got tired of working the closing shift. It was too late for her, so she was like, "Yeah, maybe retirement
Why
wasn't." That's the first thing that popped into my head.
I'm glad it wasn't some horrible Hispanic name.
That'd have been low hanging fruit. That'd have been
Olga,
Olga
or some shit like that.
Esmeralda.
I could have sworn that Olga was Russian.
I did too.
Olga is a really, really popular old Spanish name.
What's the nickname for that? Where do you?
Gigi.
Olg.
Gigi.
Hey, Olg.
No, it's Ga.
Olgas are usually Gigi's.
All right, but when Olga goes to see her grandmom, what do people call them in the house? I feel like Gigi's a popular grandmom name. I feel like that's a little...
No, it's Willa.
Oh, that's in the Black House. My bad. My bad.
Olga kind of sounds like something that someone Yoda's race could be called.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. See, the transitions are real on Annie, Are You Okay? A Star Wars podcast.
A Star Wars podcast.
I was going to say, man, it's your time to do it.
I had it because I had a question. I answered it in my head as we did the intro. But a Star Wars podcast. Because Olga, that was Helga's sister's name in Hey Arnold.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Olga was the prettier sister, but the uglier name.
The uglier name.
The unibrow game in that family was strong,
just for Helga. Oh, her dad had a strong brow.
Yeah, he had a strong.
Oh yeah, the alcoholism. Helga's mom was always sloshed. always.
And that passed as TV for us as kids. Don't you love the 90s?
You don't remember that episode where somebody was getting their ass ate on Hey Arnold?
No, I don't actually, but I do know that Grandpa's character design is clearly a dick. Creates his balls are his chin, and then his head is the rest of the penis. So.
But yeah, somebody was getting their ass ate in the window in one of the episodes.
Oh, it was Oscar or somebody else, right?
I think so. That sounds accurate.
A lot of shit was happening.
Y'all remember Dino Spumoni? What a guy! what a guy!
Stoop kid's afraid to leave his stoop.
Stoop kid was afraid to leave his stoop.
Stoop kid left the stoop and
go visit other stoops.
No, he became what's his name? USA agent. And that's Stu Kid now. You know what it's like? Remember Stu Kid? And they just show a picture of USA agent.
Wyatt Russell.
That's
Wyatt Russell is Stu Kid.
All right, since this is a Star Wars podcast,
Star Wars podcast,
rambling through this intro, I have to talk about.
We made it to Marvel, Disney property, Star Wars. We was getting
for
there.
sure. I have to talk about how Wyatt Russell would be the perfect live action Agent Callus. So he's got the face for it. I think
we be blending. We get there.
Yeah,
it might take us a while, but we get there.
I mean, hey, it's a Rebels cameo. We might get to another Rebels cameo later in this episode.
Oh God, what a cameo!
I loved it. So
my nerd rocks off.
I know. Off the top of this, we gotta I'm gonna throw in a sounder right here so that
the Star Wars
this. Oh shit! When you hear it, you're probably gonna want to turn the episode off, unless you have watched the season finale of The Bad Batch, which we are definitely going to cover. Matt and I talked this morning. Too good not to talk about. Lots of feelings there, but we don't want to spoil you because it takes some of the enjoyment out of it unless you're Yali and you like spoilers. So,
and this Mando episode is very self-contained. I feel like we'll get through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, we're gonna dive through
a lot of set pieces.
Some payoff from earlier episodes that we can talk about, but let's dive right into this Mando
hyper
season 3. Punch it. There we go. Do some things in the background. Maybe put in the hyperdrive noise. I don't know.
You know?
This is a Star Wars podcast. What are they going to do?
Star Wars podcast.
Copyright? Are they going to copyright hit me? I've put in a bunch of other shit. They have no idea.
Almost made another Jew joke.
Oh. Matt's allowed to do it. Matt's allowed to do it.
A counter of like Jew jokes, and every time Matt says the Star Wars podcast, and then that's when people drink.
When I re-listened to the episode last week, I had to put a counter on myself for how many times I said like while I was trying to say something. So this week, I'm going to try not to say like every 3 words. So let's see how it goes.
But we're from Philly, so that's like our thing.
It's like the episode of South Park where they kept saying
Star Wars. What would be a cool Star Wars noise is like the
maybe like
I feel like ding is too
thing.
Plain. Ooh, that could be a thing.
Maybe a blaster noise. I don't know. I'm really gonna try not to do that to this week. So.
Or the scream that R2 does when shit hits the fan.
Oh, yeah. No, I was gonna say Grievous is breathing. Like that. It'll either like
they're gonna think it's one of us,
hard, or make you stop.
Yeah, right.
They're gonna be like, "Who the fuck has asthma?"
That wasn't a sound effect, by the way. I legitimately did that. Okay, so we will actually hyper dive right into Mando Season 3, Chapter 21, The Pirate. We start off here with Nevarro getting attacked by, I think it's Gorian Shard. I finally got his name down, I think.
Green Grimace, for those who don't care about his name.
Old Greg, for people who don't care about his name. Swamp Thing, for people
the seaweed monster from Scooby-Doo.
Who don't care about his name.
We don't care about
This is a swamp monster.
Shout out to Jim Henson though, because that was definitely like Henson.
Yo, my man,
word.
What was that? What was that? The 80s, the 70s? When was Scooby Doo? What was that? That wasn't Jim Henson. That was the other H. Hanna-Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera.
She had a fucking chokehold on the animated industry back in those days.
Flintstones, Scooby Doo, more diverging things. Seems to be
the
so
Herculoids.
Seems is going to be so happy listening to this episode that we literally have hardly talked Star Wars, and it's been almost 10 minutes.
Enjoy that bachelor party, friend.
2.5 of it aren't going to make it in the episode. So we're good.
Okay.
A Star Wars podcast.
A Star Wars podcast. Thank you, Matt.
Anyways.
Trademark. Nevarro's getting attacked. Grief Karga is obviously planning some renovations. He's going to have to plan quite a few more because that town is getting blown the fuck up. I really have had no expectations for where things are going, just kind of hoping that the plot continues to evolve. But I thought it was interesting that we're going to take the pirates out so soon. I thought they would kind of be like a recurring villain, similar to Matt saying, Team Rocket showing up from time to time to just get baked, and maybe they will, but it seemed like it was pretty definitive victory for the people of Nevarro. We'll get into that later. Anything strike you guys as weird that they pulled the pirates out of the storyline so early, or do you think that it's a bit of a red herring and it was just kind of like used as a plot device to place the Mandos on Nevarro?
Red herring, a pup named Scooby-Doo character coming back to the Hanna-Barbera.
Full circle.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I think it was you who said it, Matt. Like, I feel like some of this pirate shit might have been like that Cara Dune show we ended up getting canceled because Gina Carano couldn't keep her mouth shut for half a second.
That was
so
Mike,
I'm
but
like,
I'll take credit for it.
like, whoever, one of the M's.
One of the
One of y'all.
M's.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it was, and they were just like, "Well, we got this footage, we gotta use it." I'm like,
yeah, I would imagine that costume was not easy to make. There's we're putting this shit somewhere.
I don't know if it was like I said, I'm not sure if like these things were filmed at the same time or this is separate footage, but something away about the show's editing and like cinematography. Whenever they do the pirates, something about it doesn't seem like it's done at the same person. Like it feels like it's copy and pasted into the scene somehow. So I just feel like it's like I said, shit that they were like, oh, we have all this footage, we gotta kind of like use it. Let's use some of this pirate shit.
Damn.
Like, you know, and I think I said it like in my reaction videos. If we had started with just this episode, like if this episode was episode 1, like we wouldn't really lose anything from the previous 3 episodes on, because like you said, it wraps itself up in a nice little bow. We still learned everything we learned from the 3 episodes prior. So like taking out the pirate, it's just kind of like, again, it feels like an opening of a season to me. So like, I wasn't really like thrilled with like, oh, we getting rid of them already, but I also didn't understand why the fuck they were there in the first place. So it was just like,
it was like going based off of like how everything got intertwined with like the Pershing plot and everything. Like literally the pirates were brought into this solely so what's the lady's name? Their name, Elia Kane. It was dead ass legit for Elia Kane's character to like be shady. Like literally that was the one through line for Elia to be like, man, we don't need to send shit, they need to learn the lesson outside. But that's a really good point, Yali, about like the pirate scenes kind of looking like they were copied and pasted, because like Mandalorian has always felt like grainy, like a western. Like that's kind of always been like the way, like dull colors, dark lighting and stuff. But everything with the pirate like is bright and vibrant and colorful and like catered to kids and like, oh, catch your attention. So that is a really good point, that all the stuff in the ship or even the crew, like they seem like a lot more cartoonish compared to some of the other
they got
effects.
Green Grimace, they got Pumbaa, they got Smee from Peter Pan, they got a bulldog. I
love that Smee is an Ugnaught, so yes, continue.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, they all look really like
Bob
kitty.
Hoskins.
Oh, big sad. I'm sorry, but no, it's just like everything. Like you said, everything about it looks kitty or like I'm pretty sure they're using Jim Henson's company to do like the practical effects for the costuming for most of those pirates. But I'm just like, it just doesn't mesh well. It just didn't feel like it was supposed to be there.
Yeah. I think that, and it's hard because I feel like Star Wars can take on so many different tones. I'm going to disagree a little bit with you about, like, this could have been the start of the season, because I do feel like this wrapped up a few of the storylines to push us and ask more questions. Like, I feel like
that's it. I quit.
I know, right?
If only they did that, DB4L, but they care about their friendship.
Yeah, people like when podcasters just yell at each other, and we can do that all day long. But I do think that it's something where it's like, remember the beginning of The Last Jedi, and it's like, that is very campy to me. Like, it's a very like fun and like lighthearted opening. and then it turns into a much more serious movie that has some comedic moments in it, whereas like Mando has, like Matt said, has been very gritty up to this point. So I can definitely see how you feel that way, like the copy and pasting of it feeling like disjointed. But I also have heard there's been rumors coming out that the pirates are going to be pretty big antagonists in the Skeleton Crew show that's coming out. So maybe it was just kind of like, well, if we need to have them to have a certain vibe so that the vibe transitions over to that show, I could see that kind of like being the reason behind it. And we have seen pirates before in the Clone Wars, and they are pretty funny from time to time. Like, I'd be lying if I said Hondo Ohnaka's not one of the funniest characters.
Where's
in Star Wars
Hondo
animation.
at?
I know. I've been waiting for him to show up.
Closer.
Rachel asks every week, "Where's Hondo at?" This episode was literally called The Pirate, so I feel like that was our best chance. Instead, we got a different cameo. But I think Hondo's coming. It's inevitable. Whether it's played by Jim Cummings or Jack Sparrow, who knows?
The Ahsoka show is basically going to be Rebels live action.
The Rebels reunion.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Rebels live action. Rebels Part 2.
So, even though the pirates are like disjointed, they still I guess Nevarro has no defenders, right? Until now. And so, like,
temporarily at least.
Yeah, we're gonna have to dive into those implications later, but like, how did they get there? Let's dive into it. You know, Carson Teva gets alerted from Grief Karga. This, to me, was the most obvious rewriting that went on due to the Gina Carano situation. You know, like, not that I have anything against Carson Teva being involved more. I love the character, love the actor. You know, he's great, and we get some great throat singing from clearly the band that did the music for Jedi Fallen Order. As we pan to the New Republic, I guess, like, military outpost that's out there, and we see a bunch of pilots, but we get to see an old friend. A big purple guy walks into frame, and
excited.
I am so excited, and I was so pleased with how he looked in live action. I think full CGI was the right call for Zeb. I'm sure that it's a lot of money to be putting a character in like that, but I really
That's why they didn't have the money for the popsicles. They used all of it
for Zeb. If that's the case, then I'm here for it. If that's the case, great to have Steve Blum back, just like one of the greatest voice actors of all time. So excited to see him, and I hope we get to see more of him, whether it's in Mando or Ahsoka. I don't care. Just please more Zeb. It was fantastic to see him, and I love that he was like in like a blue like Rebel pilot outfit. I feel like those didn't get enough shine in Rogue One, so to bring it back for him felt cool.
Yeah, and I'm kind of agreeing with you, Mike, in terms of the full CGI, because for me that felt telling that he's going to have a lot to do whenever he shows back up, because I feel like having a practical effect costume like that would have been very hard for the actor to move around, and you wouldn't have been able to do too much. Like Seaweed Man kind of was literally in a chair every time we saw him. His one action motion was standing up like to go to the wheel. Like, that's all he ever did. So yeah, seeing him full CGI, I was like, oh, they have big plans for Zeb. Like, they're gonna have him like moving around and fighting and climbing shit. So I was like, let's go. I was super excited. That was fire. Am I tripping, or was that bar literally the same set that they used in the prison for the Bill Burr episode? I swear that was the same exact set.
I think it isn't. I thought it was the same bar that they had in that thing where like Mando had to take off his helmet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It looked like the same.
The same thing. Like, I was just like, wait, they turned the prison into a bar.
These are great questions. I wonder. I do wonder sometimes. It's like, what is the budget of this show? How much is it? Like, where can we reuse assets for people to not catch things? They also were in a bar when on the season finale of season 2, and I'm questioning, are those like, is that the same set? They just put a different kind of like aesthetic around it a bit to try and like mask that up. And in some ways I'm like, this is kind of admirable from like a production standpoint, to just try and like get the most out of things, so that you can focus and put the funds elsewhere. But if it becomes like a regular occurrence, and it starts taking like your...
It's a running joke.
Well, yeah.
There go that bar again.
I mean, shit, we never let Gene's guy go, so we're definitely not going to let this go.
Yeah, like literally, as soon as that scene popped up, I was like, oh shit, they're back at the prison. But then I saw they was drinking, and I was like, wait, it's a bar now. And then like weirdly, I was just like, oh, maybe it's a different place. And then I saw like that same fucking jukebox that Den went over to in the corner when he took the shit off. I was like, that's the same jukebox thing. Like, this is the same place.
Maybe it's I guess it's not too far off to be like Imperial ships all look the same, so maybe the outposts did too. Maybe the outposts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And so maybe it's like converted out. Yeah.
Yeah, if they converted it to a bar, I'm like, oh, cool. And you saw Dave Filoni was in there.
Yeah, I think Rick Famuyiwa as well, and Deborah Chow got a chance to. It was great to see. A bunch of the directors get to kind of like play around and have small little cameos in the show. But Carson Teva, obviously he's like got a job to do, and although the rebels there are sympathetic to like Nevarro, he has no choice but to go back to the core worlds and go to Coruscant and ask for help to help this planet, which is an independent system. And while I was very excited to see him get a role in Star Wars, Tim Meadows is kind of useless.
He was so out of place, dog.
He's good in that role, but he's useless as a character because it's just like, you're a pencil pusher, man. Like, he went from a principal in Mean Girls to a pencil pusher in Star Wars. What happened, man?
I screamed when I saw him. I was like, oh my god! Like,
I can never see Tim Meadows without either thinking about Mean Girls or the Even Stevens movie. It's the only like when I see him, I can't ever like.
In case you were wondering if Matt was a millennial, here you go.
90s, baby. But yeah, like anytime I see Tim Meadows, I can't ever be like, oh, he bodied that. I'm like, look at Tim Meadows in Star Wars. Like, it's just Tim Meadows. But I was like, yo, he's had like such like a if you really break down, my man has always worked. Like, he's never not had a job, but he's not like a big name actor. But like him and randomly like David Allen Greer, like never have ever not worked. Like, they always get jobs. And then back to our favorite conversation. Who are the barbers on Star Wars? Because that man's high top fade was fun. That shit was clean. I'm like, damn, Tim, who lined you up?
And Elias hair this episode, I was like, damn, who is doing it over there?
And Reva from Kenobi, her braids stayed fresh until she got kicked out.
Until they was like,
because she got kicked out. She lost her hairdresser. She got kicked out the Sith. And she was like, damn.
I know Katie Sackhoff's wearing a wig, but whenever Bo-Katan takes that helmet off, I'm like, damn, that hair looks nice for being in a helmet.
You got a hair upgrade this season.
Ain't no flyaways, should be laid.
Not even no sweat in that helmet. It's just...
So to make myself feel better, I've just convinced myself that she dyes her hair. She's gray under there. She just dyes it. Just trying to keep up appearances.
Matt has been having an existential crisis with her age for this entire season, by the way.
It bugs me so. In Star Wars.
For everybody else, it comes quick. For all other people, this shit strike quick. Age you up real fast.
So the useless New Republic doesn't help Carson Teva out at all.
Suck, dude. They suck.
I know. It's like they're not even hiding how incompetent they are. It's like, oh, no wonder the First Order rose to power. So he heads out to an old rebel operative that I'm glad we talked about this because I feel like they don't maybe they brought it up in the episode where they send R5 with Mando to go check out Mandalore, but
Polly mentioned it a little bit. She's like, "Oh, this one,
served in the rebellion.
He's seen some shit.
Yeah, he's seen some shit. He blew his motivator just for the rebellion.
Yeah,
he gave himself depression just for the rebellion.
My man got PTSD like a mug.
So he shows up at the covert. The planet dinosaur or whatever, Lost Kingdom, I don't know what to call it.
Second dusty ass planet.
Yeah. So I really like when people do this in real life or when it's in movies, and we're gonna cut straight to it because there's not really much else to talk about, but they have the talking hammer, a talking stick for the Mandalorians.
Yo, I was fucking dying.
Which I thought was funny.
So you could hear the armor being like, "Thank you for using the stick."
Yeah, exactly. But then we get...
I would have loved to see like the prep meeting before the conversation started. Like, all right, if you don't have the hammer, don't speak. This is the way.
Yeah. Don't speak unless you know and have a hammer.
Facts. Because I'm just like imagining like the HR meetings that have took place that everybody knows that's the system.
But they have HR meetings about like you have to use the hammer to talk, but no meetings about like how do we take care of our pterodactyl problem that's been plaguing us for however fucking long. Like the list of priorities is all fucked up during the way. I was like, okay, so we know we have to use the stick, but the kids, eat a couple.
It was like kids, child safety, our safety. Fuck it. Don't talk over each other. Very important.
And so we already know that Din and Bo are going to go help out the people of Nevarro, regardless of what the other Mandalorians do. But as I was saying, the one thing that I really like is the bait and switch speech. Reminds me of when...
Fucking diva.
It reminds me when Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football in 2017 was talking up the Vikings just to fucking turn heel and talk the Eagles up. And then that man did it twice, 2 weeks in a row. to talk up the Eagles against the Patriots. It's classic. And when Paz Vizsla does it in this episode, I said, "Fuck yes, let's go."
This
man saved my son.
Last episode, I called him a bitch, and I was like, oh, because I was just like, he was just bitching for no reason. And then I realized that was Jon Favreau. I was like, damn, I just called Jon Favreau a bitch. So I have to say sorry.
It's just his voice. It's not his body. He has a stand-in.
During the speech, he was getting spicy. I was like, nah, I take that shit back. He's still a bitch. And then he switched. I was like, well, I take it back again because he's down for the cause. They got me.
You know what's funny? I had the exact opposite reaction. When he switched up, it was on his side. I was like, you just wanted to talk in front of a crowd. Sit your ass down.
He had the hammer. He had the hammer.
You knew you was going to be supportive that whole time. You did all that shit to cause a fucking scene. He's like, this is my moment. What's that movie?
This is the way.
Remember fucking Not Just Another Teen Movie when the dude wanted to start a slow clap the whole movie?
Yeah.
And then someone took his shit at the end. I feel like that was him. He was just like, this is my moment to give like a rally speech. he practiced that shit.
For my son. I was like, you didn't give a shit about your son when the first couple of kids got taken. All of a sudden, the kids need a future.
Because those wasn't his kids. He's like, I ain't lose my foundling. My man's right here.
Ragnar is right here.
If that's his biological son, which we assume it is, how is he a foundling? He's always been there.
I
think that was always been Heirdling.
That was definitely like a script mistake, or
like, you have been aroundling. Like, what is you talking about? Nepotism at its best.
I like that we get the Bo-Katan talk over the plan type thing. That to me is such a good way of kind of like explain. Like, I feel like they don't do a lot of like explaining in the moment how things are going to happen and what the plan is and all that stuff. And this was just a cool way to show kind of like all these Mandalorians in their prime getting ready for battle and what we can expect from, you know, just a full-on onslaught of these pirates. And it's very strategic, and they know definitely what they're trying to accomplish by like liberating things. And I like keep saying like, and now I can't just pew, 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 pew. we're just gonna keep firing them off.
He said, I can't miss if I shoot everything.
I can't miss if I shoot it all.
If I shoot it all, I can't miss.
You know what? We're just gonna drop a nuke on Nevarro. And that's what they do. They drop the Mandos. It's like dropping a nuke.
There you go.
Dropping a nuke.
Grievous breathing effect entered here. You sound like a Tusken Raider, bro. That's racist, Mike.
I just got outed on my own podcast.
I'm pretty sure they're green under those masks. You're good.
Okay.
There's something. Don't they look like cats? Don't Tusken Raiders look like cats under their helmet thingy things?
I think
you know what?
do.
I need to. It's definitely been explored in Legends.
I'm 99.9% sure.
We're on Nevarro. Like, we had 2 episodes of The Mandalorian shooting at nothing. And then, like, why was their shooting so fucking bad during this whole, I don't know what we're calling it, the taking back of Nevarro? Like, they were just shooting and missing. I was like, what was the point of those 2 fucking episodes of y'all shooting at water?
Y'all practicing.
Wait, hold on. When they first drop in, they're taking out the pirates.
Getting them. It was getting them. They got pinned down. They got nervous.
All right, why are you nervous? You practiced for 2 episodes.
First off, I never get tired of seeing
new.
somebody hit someone with the butt of a gun, which is just so funny to me because it's like you could shoot them, but you hit them with the gun physically instead. So that's hilarious. And then the other guy was wrapping him up in the thing like Boba Fett does to Luke in Return of the Jedi. I was like, yeah, let's like blast with these guys.
They were doing shitty, and then here comes the armor with her like 2 things, her tongs and her meat hammer, and they're just like beep, 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 in like 2 seconds. I was like, why don't? It's like that scene from like what was it? Endgame. Like, why did we send her out in the beginning? Like, why was she up there the whole time?
That was.
She could just took care of it by her fucking self. Like,
that shit reminded me of Shorty off of the Power Rangers movie that beat the crows up. The sticks.
Oh, the Green John lady.
The whistle sticks.
Oh yeah,
damn, I can't remember. It's in my head. Like her name's in my head.
That was definitely a sexual awakening. Like,
1 1,000%.
I was like, yeah,
Man, they're ninjas now. The Power
We're not-
Rangers are
we're not-
ninjas now.
We're not gonna talk about how Tommy went to a whole desert planet in a whole white fit and didn't get dirty, but it's fine. It's fine.
you can't fuck up
Imagine
fly.
having to clean that
You
shit
can't
up
fuck
on
fly.
set. Jesus.
It's fine. That's Tommy walks so Vin Diesel could run. White tees never get dirty and Fast and Furious.
I feel like David Frank would have loved that.
1,000%. My guy.
Shout out to David Frank,
Rip.
R.I.P.
Shout out to the guy, to the boy. But that fight scene was fire.
Do we know, like, is it a legit reason? Again, maybe I think too fucking much because, like, I write for a living. But I was just like, okay, so we're here because the bar is a school now, and we shot the one guy, and like that equals
He shot more. No, he left one guy alive. He shot everybody
We shot
else.
4 or 5 guys, so that equals let's destroy the whole fucking town, city.
Well, I know that the beginnings of Nevarro were built up by money that Grief Karga and Gorian Shard won together, or whatever. However, they came into that money, it was split between the two of them. And so, if Gorian Shard felt that, like, this Nevarro was rightly his, or part of his like, kind of jurisdiction, if you will, I don't know, like, what exactly to...
Why he wait 3 seasons?
It's a good question.
He
Why?
didn't give a shit before.
Yeah.
Well, he
had
was
the-
busy. He was busy plundering and drinking rum in another part of the galaxy. And now he's back.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he found out he had a son named Michael B. Jordan who also wanted to be a boxer. And had to go check on him.
And now he's back.
He was busy.
Now he's back. He was busy checking on his son. He had to make sure that he met Rocky. He's
Said
like, all
they
right, you
didn't
got
like
it, bro.
when we
All right.
made Milo Ventimiglia an older fucking Rocky's son, and so now we have to redo everything in Creed.
That was rough.
I mean, the Creed, the way. That's why the Mandos show up.
There you go. Full circle.
I find a way to bring it back.
My man.
I really liked the action sequences on Nevarro. I know that, obviously Yali's not the biggest fan of it, but the CGI with the starfighting battle is always great. Love seeing the Mandos drop out of the gauntlet ship. I love that design, that it follows kind of like the Mandalorian aesthetic of like the world being very cubist from the Clone Wars. They really kind of pull that motif, and it looks really good in live action. So I'm never going to get tired of seeing that. And coming off the starfighter battle we had at the beginning of, was it 2 chapters ago? Was it chapter 19?
Oh, the one on Kalevala?
Yeah. They're just killing it. I honestly, it's a
budget
real
is going
shame
up.
that Patty Jenkins' movie got canceled, because I feel like the animation team that works on those dogfights is just fire.
Yeah.
And if it does end up coming back into fruition, hire whoever you hired to work on these 2 episodes, because I want to see it. They're really killing it, and the only gripe I have, I think, with it is that when the ship crashes, it just conveniently crashes behind Nevarro instead of on Nevarro.
None of the debris falls on
yeah,
It
but
can't fall on the parcel they're going to give the Mandalorians. It has to fall on the other parcel they were not giving the Mandalorians.
Exactly.
Back here is fine.
I do want to point out one piece of very lazy visual effects, and it could have been an oversight, but I hold Star Wars to a higher standards.
Please tell me it's exactly what I thought.
When Seaweed Monster Man had pretty much given up, was like, fuck it, if I'm gonna die, everybody gonna die, and he shot into the crowd, nobody moved. if you go back and watch it, when it shows the above shot, when he was just like, oh, our people are down there, he's like, I said fire, and he shot down. Literally the
They're all
crowd of
just
people
standing
that was down there just stood still. And I know that no one probably just made him run off. But I was just like, why they still standing? The bullets were coming closer to him, they just were still standing there. And I was like, somebody got fired.
everyone's in shock. Nobody's running.
I thought
Everyone's in
it was
shock.
okay, how horrible the Salacious Crumb looking things looked at every time they panned to them. I just CGI is terrible. I
They're
know
not
they got
CGI,
puppets somewhere.
They were puppets. Those were puppets.
No,
those are the
at one
puppets.
point, no, when they were telling the Mandalorians hey yo, is over here, that was all CGI.
Oh, when he was in the tree.
Yeah, they were all
I
just
know, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that shit
was
did
like-
look pretty. That shit look rough. That looked like re-release original trilogy.
right? It was just so bad. I was like,
It's like that one Family Guy joke where the sock puppet comes in. "Ah, I'm over here."
I know exactly which part you're talking about. When it was in the trees, like over there, it's like that.
Yeah, I was
that
like,
shit.
were they not puppets 2 minutes ago? What the fuck did what just happened? Like, and they was like, nah, we're just CGI this scene. I was just like,
Reshoots, baby. Reshoots.
I genuinely am not paying enough attention because I didn't catch that Grogu was trying to say this is the way, and I definitely don't remember the scene.
I didn't peep
with
until
Monkey
Yali.
Lizards.
Until Yali said,
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
doing that,
trained
so
to like look.
Clearly,
for,
I'm not paying enough attention, and even though I watch it twice before we do
in
these.
awe. You're just in awe of the.
I
of
love
the
Star Wars.
cinematic excellence.
Star Wars is my favorite. Can you tell?
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good.
If I didn't
Stop
have Star
chatting.
Wars,
Stop
I'd have
chatting.
nothing.
How do you like your wars with stars?
That's the name of this episode.
How do you like your wars? ... with stars.
Stars. With mad R's. With stars.
Stars. That's my favorite.
I didn't totally hate the scene. I just felt like, again, we had 2 episodes of them training, and like we always have all the hype up, like, yo, Mandalorians are like the best of the best when it comes to like getting shit done. I'm like, all right, here they go. They all about to go get their shit on, and then next, they get cornered, and now nobody knows how to shoot. I'm just like, okay, well, what were we training for? Like,
So I'm a logic it away. If you remember, at the end of Book of Boba Fett, they only had 2 people. They all new recruits. That's all.
well, they knew me.
That's all. They all knew.
Steve has been an apostate
Fucking
3 times.
Steve got kicked out 3 times. Steve,
I'm sorry, Steve.
why you think that bug knew how to set traps? Because Steve done been trampling through the fucking the siege of Mandalore for years.
Cracking chicken bones everywhere.
Sorry, Steve.
All them sewer monsters been coming because they've been drawing to Steve's chicken bones that he's been leaving down there by the pool.
He's supposed to drop him in the furnace like the rest of it. And
They don't. Fucking Steve.
speaking of furnaces,
I'll let it slide.
after Grief Karga graciously gives the Mandalorians land as if he had a choice, Din Djarin's like, I'm claiming it now because I need it.
Like, what are you going to say no at that point? You got
You know.
16 Mandos looking at you like, yo, what's up, bro?
Everyone cheers while the Mandos act like we're too cool for school, and then they're like, all right, I guess we're
No, they was
in
cheesing
this.
under them helmets. They was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, we did that. We in here.
They muted their comms so only they could hear each other. Yeah, we got a
Yeah.
home, y'all.
Private chat. I can't believe we can live in the sun again. It's so cold in the cave.
They say, yo, Jurassic Park can suck my dick.
I never have to worry about getting ate by them again, just by the crazy flying things that poisoned Grief Karga in season 1.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know, somebody's like, damn, if only we had did this a week earlier, my son would still be alive.
And that is a big yikes from the Andy Are You OK team. So anyway, Forge's armor has to talk to Bo-Katan. Paz Vizsla walks down into the old sewers where the covert used to live, and we get some interesting remarks from the armor.
So confused.
It's definitely one of those things where I think we really need to start diving into what her backstory is and motivations are, because she's just becoming this really intriguing character, made ever so more confusing by asking Bo-Katan to remove her helmet. The hesitation from Bo-Katan feels like she was finally buying in, and now this is my personal read on it. So, please
where the cameras at? Y'all
please
y'all
hit me with your theories, whether you fuck with mine or not. I really feel like the whole point of this is that the Armorer knows that she cannot unite all of Mandalore, and that her best chance at doing it is through Bo-Katan. Now, with that being said, I do think that the whole goal of that is just to usurp her power once she has united everybody. I do feel like now the Armorer is the villain. Like, she has been so hard, especially on Din, for removing the helmet. I just can't see her voluntarily being like, yeah, it's fine, walk both ways. It just doesn't feel right. And while it is like good for Bo-Katan that she can walk both ways, and there's a chance for the Mandalorians to really rally and take Mandalore back, I feel like there's going to be infighting, and it's just going to result in more civil wars, which is kind of tragic, because all that culture has known is civil war.
Yeah, I'm super conflicted because I think when we did the very first episode, I was saying like the armor was giving me super sketchy vibes. Like when she was having that conversation with Din, and Din was just like, but if I do it, am I good? And she was just like, that long pause, and she was like, yeah, all right, bro, whatever. Like you good. So I'm super torn. They keep Book of Boba Fetting us. Like, I feel like every time I think I know where the show is going, like they just like subvert my expectations, and I'm like, I don't know how to feel, because it's like, one, I love not projecting that to know what happens. I like the surprise, but there's also a part of me that feels like, do y'all even know where the fuck y'all want to go with this show? Because it's like, it feels like it's two shows. Because I would be down for the armor to be the antagonist. I'd be for that, because that was my original guess. Because I want Pershing to be the bad guy. I want him to like have been a super duper piece of shit in that what's their name again?
Elia King.
Thank you. I want her to have been like really reformed and knows that he's a piece of shit, and like she's like, oh, that's why we fried his brain. But now it seems like Elia is actually a bad guy, which I'm like, y'all super telegraphed that. And I was just like, I hate like super duper obvious character choices. Like, y'all made her seem shady from the rip, which goes back to the when we were on all together the first time. If she is the bad guy or one of the bad guys to help like with the First Order and stuff, then the choice to leave her in that room alone makes that guy seem really stupid. Like, he was just like, oh yeah, that's your friend, take your moments to, you know, stand over the machine with the button that turns up the voltage by yourself. I'll just step out as the main physician of this surgery. I'll just step out real quick. So I was like, I don't like when they telegraph like who the bad guy is, like especially that early and like that lazily, because it's like I would prefer her to be a red herring. But I'm kind of torn, because I can see the armor. When I first had heard that conversation, I was like, oh, she's up to some shit. She's gonna try to like twist the bow to get the dark saber off of Din, like somehow, like or she's gonna like encourage her to like, yeah, that should be yours, Bo. Like, you're the one that saw the mythosaur. You need to take that off of him. Like, try to turn on Din. But on the other side of it, I do think it might be her really actually trying to bring back Mandalore, because I think she knows what we've always been saying. Din's he's a blind witness. He's a zealot. Like, he's drunk the Kool-Aid. Like, he wouldn't take, after doing what he just did, I don't think he'd be willing to take the helmet off, and technically he hasn't walked both ways. Like, the couple times he took the helmet off, it was like around the same people every single time. Well, once it was a robot, then it was the Grogu time, and then like the prison people who all got blown up and they got turned into a bar and shit, whatever. but I'm like, I don't think that I think she knows that he's so deep in Mandalorian belief for the watch and stuff that he wouldn't be willing to do it. He would kind of like be like, bitch, I just did all that. Like, you gonna make me take it off? But Bo, you know, she's never worn the helmet like that. She's kind of always been on and off. So I'm super torn. That was a really roundabout way of saying I'm super torn, because it's like, I'd prefer at this point, because they seem like Elia Kane is the bad guy and they're just making it so obvious, I'd prefer the swerve of being the armor. But I get why she's doing what she's doing, because she don't want to take her shit off. She don't trust none of her people to take their shit off, because they've never done it. And Bo, she's like kind of free and, you know, let that hair flow. She was like, oh yeah, you can convince the people who have taken their helmets off, like her old squad and everything who abandoned her. You can make them come back, and then the people who do still wear the helmet, like, you're with us now, you cool, so you can put it back on and preach this is the way. We'll let you do both and whatnot. But I do feel like what you're saying, Mike, there's gonna have to be a point where how can you have her like be the one to rally the troops, but Din has the dark saber? Like, I feel like there's gonna be some point where she's gonna like be in her ear like, all right, yeah, your hair's fabulous and all that, but we need that sword. Like, I need you to you saw the mythosaur, he ain't see the mythosaur. you need to go get that sword, bro. So we'll see. I have no idea how many episodes are left. Like 3?
I think 3.
There's 4 left.
It's 4 left.
Are you sure there's 9?
There's 9 episodes.
I thought it was 8.
I thought it was 8 too.
I'm down with there being 9, but yeah, it just feels like how the show ended. We're like, it's 2 separate shows. It's like what's going on with the New Republic and what's going on with the Mandalorians, and obviously I guess we can kind of blend into the end of what happened with you know, Moff Gideon being jailbroke, and clearly it seems the Mandalorians are being framed for it. or whatnot, what have you. I would like the twist that it actually was like a Mandalorian. That'd be cool. Maybe if it was the armor or some shit, like or whatever that actually did break him out or whatnot. Just go full bad guy. But yeah, it's a
I can
doozy.
confirm that it's 8 episodes for the season.
It's
It's
8
very-
episodes.
So there's only
Yeah.
3 episodes left.
Yeah.
Then it's even worse now.
But that's
Since
what I'm
Matt
saying.
kind of dove into it a little bit, we got to talk about
Give it to
the
us.
very end, right?
Give us the stage.
Carson Teva comes in, sees the Lambda class shuttle, which I guess the rebels stole them so much that they're just rebel ships now. So
Yep.
it was Moff Gideon's prison transport, and when they do this search for everything, there is remnants of Beskar in there, which obviously is a paper trail or a breadcrumb trail of like Beskar fragments to the Mandalorians. And my first read on it was it's the Mandalorians that left Bo-Katan, and they didn't think it was.
Oh, Sasha Banks coming back?
Yeah, Sasha Banks. I think it's Casca Reeves and Axe Woves were the 2 Mandos with Bo-Katan. Like, whatever faction that they're currently part of determined that his war tribunal was not enough of punishment, and that they decided they wanted to do
Okay.
it themselves.
I like that.
However, obviously we don't record these things right after we watch them, so it's not like an instant reaction. I've spoken with previous producer of the show, only producer because I was living in his house while we did this, but my old pal Scooter. Shout out to Rachel's dad.
Shout out Rachel's dad.
He mentioned to me that to leave something like that is very cold, calculating, and could be our first hint at Grand Admiral Thrawn
Ooh.
framing the Mandalorians to
Absolutely.
break this
Okay.
guy out. And I said, wow, I really
Okay.
fuck with your idea. Can't believe I didn't come up with it first. Congratulations, Scooter. The big blue meanie is on his way back to Star Wars.
that
And
was
I think you're right.
my thought was in my mind I was trying to figure out why would the Mandalorians do that? Okay, but why would someone frame the Mandalorians to do that? And then I was trying to think about who would be the person who would connect all of these random things we've got going on. We got Pershing, we've got everything going on with the Mandalorians, we got Nevarro, we got the pirates, and now we got Zeb. It was the only logical thing that my mind
Tim
was
Meadows.
Tim Meadows.
Clearly, it's been him the whole time.
It's been he's the Mephisto of
It's
Star
been
Wars.
Agatha. It's been Agatha all along.
I was I figured Thrawn's the only person who really has a connection to all the little pieces, and so it would make sense to give us a hint at him.
I mean, he does have beef with Sabine Wren. This could be.
He's got beef with a lot of people.
And he definitely was experimenting on his photon cannons
And
on her
plus,
people.
It's
in
true.
the previous seasons, I think Ahsoka mentioned him, so it's we need the payoff.
Yeah, she's looking
or at
for
least
him.
so we
Find
have to at
Ezra.
least show him, so that way we can when he pops up in Ahsoka, people go oh, that's the dude. I do feel this season, which is something I dislike, and
Just a setup for Ahsoka.
a setup for anything I don't like. I felt
They
When we,
book a Boba Fett in it.
But isn't it
They
the point of a
both-
shared universe to fucking have these through lines? Is that
I
not
feel
what
like
makes
it's-
it good?
yeah, but it shouldn't be so obvious. Like for example, the Eternals. The Eternals was just to be we have this cosmic thing that's later going to play a part in several movies later, but not right now. We're just telling you about
Still waiting.
yeah, but it hasn't happened yet, right? So it's just I feel Star Wars is a
bro.
little bit better once we do hey, this thing is coming. They usually have a time frame for it. So I feel I was thinking when are they going to mention Thrawn this season? Because Ahsoka is coming up. They have to do it sometime
Yeah.
soon. So
I
I feel
agree
maybe
with
he's
you.
the big bad. But I just feel I also agree I don't think this season knows what the fuck it's doing either. And I think it's too much of what happens in real world affecting this actual show, how it's being produced and how things are woven together. So I think it'd be dope if it was Thrawn, because he has to appear at some point.
Yeah.
So I think it would be cool. But I also the big bad isn't a big bad. I'm gonna say then this season's gonna end on a cliffhanger, and we won't actually get the episode until whenever the other episodes or other season
Yeah,
comes.
with only 3 episodes left, how unless they rush the shit, which I hope they don't do. Like, how much more
They have no choice. They have to rush it. They have 3 episodes. Like, they spent the 3 episodes prior setting people up. And this is where everyone from the Empire is. And this is where all the Mandos are. And this is where all the other people you kind of forgot about. And then the 4th one is kind of like tying everything together. Now we know where everyone is all at this moment. The next 3 episodes have to finish the fucking story. It's just...
I don't think they have to finish the story.
They're gonna cliffhanger, right?
Of course. They cliffhangered the last season. They just happened to
people
resolve
love
it in the next show.
No, they solved it. They finished it in the Book of Boba Fett, which is
right, which I agree. But that, I mean, it's like in their eyes, it's Mandalorian 2.5. Like, maybe for their intents and purposes, the shows are happening in a certain order because they're meant to be watched in that order.
Here's a thought. Damn, you know what? I think I might have solved their problem. This ain't what they... I think I might... All right, so to go to the through line versus the setup, I'm agreeing with Yali. I wasn't the biggest fan at the short end of the stick that Book of Boba Fett got, because it clearly was just to line us up for Mandalorian. It was, hey, we only got 8 episodes. We can't be having Din try to get Grogu back like for 2. We need to solve this shit elsewhere so we could just have them dynamic duo Scooby-Doo this shit, to quote Doctor Strange. What if, maybe not a cliffhanger, but what if somehow through the connection with Grand Admiral Thrawn and whatnot, Din is actually like a reoccurring character on Ahsoka? Like, what if he helps her to find Ezra? Like, because they have that history already. Like, they have like an established friendship. What if it's not kind of like what Mike's saying? It is lined up this way on purpose, because we're not supposed to look at them like isolated shows. It's just kind of just like one continuous show, just with different titles. Like, it's just like, but like it's all Mandalorian. It's all the Mandalorian.
Kind of like, but I think it's like
Mandalorian.
we introduced the Mandalorian
season 5 right now,
and like maybe Din is the through line through everything.
That's what it's starting to
we're
seem
taking
like.
time to focus on these other characters, and we're putting the title around the show because they have a big role to play as well. But I just listen, maybe
Din is Nick Fury.
Yeah, maybe I'm fanboying like a little bit, and maybe I just have put too much trust in Dave Filoni. But I'm sorry, I've watched too much of his work to think that like he doesn't have a plan for all of these things. There's literally one episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender who he was a showrunner on that doesn't matter. All of the rest of them play out and have.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to tell me what the episode don't matter is?
It's the one where they play the stupid game and the people are feuding.
That's a cute episode. What are you saying?
Okay, it's a cute episode, but it's the only one that is like actually like quote unquote filler in the entire show. I hate that word.
The beach episode.
It shows Aang's ability to be a peacekeeper.
Well, there you go. Then it has even more purpose than I thought. And the beach episode is about Aang's anxiety, Matt. So that's not filler.
No, I'm talking about when Zuko and his sister and
the
you get
beach
so much
episode
good
is
character
for people.
beats
It's
in
an
that one.
anime. That's what that episode is for.
True.
It's anime.
But so we see that there. Clone Wars. First off, this is why you can't skip the first 2 seasons of Clone Wars if you haven't watched it yet. Is so vital to everything that happens in the later seasons. Even some of the dumb arcs are super important. There's an arc where they just Padme and Duchess Satine are trying to stop like juice from poisoning kids on Mandalore, and it ends up playing a role later down the line. I know that sounds crazy, but it does, and it's there. And the same thing happens with Rebels. Like, I know Dave isn't as attached to Bad Batch, and we're gonna obviously talk about Bad Batch in a little bit.
Man,
there's a plan there. They know what they're fucking doing, and I think maybe I'm giving him too much credit. And like I said, time will tell. But I just refuse to believe that there isn't some sort of plan here. And if we do leave on another cliffhanger, like, isn't that just gonna make you want to watch more? Is that a problem?
Yeah, you know what I think it is.
What TV show wraps up their season?
I'm not Din Djarin. I'm not a zealot. Like, if you end on some shit I don't fuck with, good luck with you. Like, I don't.
But like, what shows do you watch that aren't ending on cliffhangers these days?
Yo, everything's getting canceled. That's like a really tricky question.
What is TV anymore?
What exactly? Like, what is surviving that I could come up and watch later? So, I'm looking at you, Netflix.
I think that, like, I feel like the 3 of us, obviously, you know, having been in nerd culture for so long and having like been a part of a lot of these long lasting TV shows, we're used to a show being even if they had like, you know, crossover stuff like with the originals and Vampire Diaries and stuff, like you would get like a cameo, like the WB would have like a character pop over like, oh shit, y'all live in the same place. But for the most part, they're self-contained. And I think I'm so programmed to a show being a show and needing a beginning, a middle, and an end. Maybe it has a cliffhanger, maybe it don't, but it's like all within the show. But I feel like the reason Book of Boba Fett was so polarizing is because it didn't really have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It was like a beginning, a middle, and we'll send you to the next show. And maybe that's Dave, like, you know, revolutionizing the TV game. Like, I'm gonna give you mad shows that, like Mikey said, like you have to watch the other shit for this to make sense. And it's just kind of just like shooting through. Maybe the Skeleton Crew might tie like he's with the pirates. Maybe that has like we'll get tied into it. But I'm starting now that we've like kind of talked about it more. I think I'm probably less nervous because I feel like whatever doesn't get resolved in the next 3 episodes is 1,000% gonna probably carry over
like, I have
into
to
the Ahsoka
challenge
show.
What you just said. If they are trying to train the audience, which essentially is something that gets used in marketing, if they're trying to train the audience to say, yo, you have to watch all of this because this shit is going to be really important later, why spend 3 episodes reminding people of things they should have already known? You should already know who Elia Kane is. You should already know what Pershing was and what he was up to. You should already know about this and that. Like, you shouldn't have spent so much time reminding people of things if you trust them to, if you're trusting that your core audience is people who've already seen these things. But both things can't be true.
But that's from one show to another. That's from one season to another. That's like a refresher for people who might have not watched last season. But like, if you didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett, you're like, where the fuck did Grogu come from? Like,
yeah.
When did he get him back?
But you can't give the same grace. Like, it has to be, you have to watch all the
who's gonna jump in and watch Mandalorian season 2? Like,
random people do random shit all the time.
Random people do random shit.
This is a great show. Let me start on season 2.
Listen, it's kind of funny. First off, I actually just want to give Yali props. I really like that. Let me challenge you on that, because that was a very cordial way of doing things instead of me getting all snippy with you.
No, listen, no. You can do what you want. I'm not doing.
When she said that, I was like, Nani? Challenge me?
I'm just, again, as someone who writes for a living, I'm always thinking about like the bigger picture. And so like,
no, that's me too.
Yeah, if my target audience is people who watch these things religiously, then I shouldn't have to explain anything to them, and they should just be able to ride it out.
I'll challenge your challenge.
I have also a challenge to that, but go ahead, Matt.
You have a draw 4? Oh shit! I got to pick up 6.
I draw 4.
Should you go first? Do you talk first? I talk first.
I'll go. Lost literally did that. Anytime that there was something important in the show that they felt that you were going to forget, the last time on Lost, they would put exactly what the fuck was about to happen in the show, even if it was in the same season. We're talking about shows that are connected to each other. Lost is a singularity. But Pershing and all that was within Mandalorian. That was season 1, season 2, season 3. I'm saying, like, you had to have watched the Book of Boba Fett, a completely different show, for the first episode of this season to make sense. Because if you skip the Book of Boba Fett, like, hey, I don't really fuck with Boba Fett, and then just went from Mando to end of season, what was it, 2? We in 3 or 4? I forget.
That was season 3.
Yeah, so if you just skipped the Book of Boba Fett and went from season 2 to season 3, you was like, damn, what the fuck happened? Like, when he get Grogu back?
Yeah.
Like, where'd Luke go? So what you're saying, I was kind of going elsewhere, because what you're saying 1000% makes sense. Like, because I hate that too. I hate when you like go from season to season and they spend the first couple episodes reminding you of what happened last season. I'm not the biggest fan of that, because you're wasting time. But I just meant like with shows, like, so from Book of Boba Fett to Mando to Ahsoka, I think it's being positioned this way on purpose, because they're all like just going across. It's like one long ass show with different chapters. And I'm starting to think that, like Mike was saying, the whole, if they are being framed and if Thrawn is behind it, that probably isn't going to get resolved in this show. It's probably going to go into the Ahsoka show, which then most likely will show up, because unless Luke's showing up, Mark Hamill will always pop up.
Mark Hamill loves a check.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's probably gonna have some interactions with some other Jedi, like, and now we got the bull. Lost his name. Aside, Jar Jar Binks actor.
Oh.
Ahmad Best.
Ahmad Best.
Yeah. Now he's back. they probably gonna use him a bunch, I would imagine,
in flashbacks,
in flashback sequences. But they're not gonna create. They wouldn't have him come back for one flashback. Like he's probably gonna like show up a bunch. So yeah, I'm thinking we're probably not gonna get as much closure in this season than what we would have wanted, and it'll probably like spill over. Has there been any inkling or like hint at who they want to cast as Thrawn? Because I remember before Jude Law got announced for like his show, and they had like, it was like, oh, secret character, everybody was saying like he should be Thrawn, and I thought that would have been fucking amazing because he has like the facial structure for Thrawn and everything. I thought that was a shoe-in.
I heard it was one of the younger Skarsgårds.
Them damn Skarsgårds.
One of the Skars. It's not Alex. It's not Alex, but it's not Bill Skarsgård. I think it's the other. There's too many of them to remember. But one of the fucking Skarsgård.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of them.
I know that. I
remember
there was talks of
early.
Lars Mikkelsen reprising the role, which I thought would have been crazy cool, but obviously probably not going to happen. And then
especially because they cast Sabine when they could have just easily used the actor who looks just the fuck like
they could have used. They could have used Tia Sircar for Sabine, and they could have used Taylor Gray for Ezra. As far as I'm concerned, like I wouldn't have cared.
I'm not mad at Aladdin because I like him.
It's not Aladdin,
and that wasn't. That's not him. Mm-hmm. That is him.
They cast someone else.
He got kicked out. I thought he got announced as being Ezra.
Nah, the people were like, "Oh, it's definitely him," and then like he got announced as somebody.
He's like a new character. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I swore
no, he's not in. He's not in.
Ezra.
I literally just went and checked back on it to see what was going on recently, and he's not Ezra. So I know I was gonna be excited for him too, even though I didn't really like the live action Aladdin. Just don't fuck up my favorite song.
That movie's trash, but I like him as an actor. Yo, I swore it was like announced, like with his whole headshot next to Ezra's picture. Like
I will admit, the person they did cast looks like
Ezra.
him. He looks like Ezra.
Crazy.
His name's escaping me, but
I'm about to look this shit up.
Draw 4 on you, Yali. This isn't like the first. This isn't the first episode of a new season of My Hero Academia. It's not a clip show. We're not like reminding us what everybody's quirk is. The episode with Pershing and Elia Kane is for us to learn more about them and gain some more emotional attachment to those characters. So while I do get where you're coming from, like you don't need to be reminded. You, an avid watcher like me, does not need to be reminded who they are, but to learn more about these characters and learn more about their motivations and what happens, I think it has the moment or potential, right, for a moment of big character payoff in the future. Maybe it's seeded in there for us to hate Elia Kane, because there are definitely times where like I know.
Did you see the hair this episode? You can't hate that face.
I'm jealous of the hair. I'm actually I'm like, this isn't fair. I'm going bald over here, and she's out here rocking like the greatest coif of
perfectly
all time.
Coiffed, perfectly coiffed.
Oh, so good.
I'm like, they're gonna make a Lego minifigure. They're gonna make a new Lego minifigure hairpiece just for
hair.
Just for their hair,
blowing the wind.
But yeah, like I just think that there's motivations and character development behind it, and
Iman Esfandi.
Yeah, Iman is Ezra, and he does look like him. I'm not gonna lie.
He definitely looks like him. So here's a little fun fact that might add to our theory that this is all just one long ass show with different titles. So Ahsoka is being labeled as Disney Plus's spinoff to The Mandalorian. So it's like a direct sequel.
Damn.
Watch it all. Just like the MCU. Hey, you know what, man? As someone who loves the universe, whatever.
Disney going Disney.
I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it.
Well, I'm gonna watch Ahsoka. Let's be clear. I'm gonna watch it.
1000%. Watching Ahsoka.
Yeah.
They got me in the first half. Not gonna lie. So I will be there. But
yeah,
I just don't want to. I just don't want shit rushed. So like, if they're gonna like have larger plot threads play out through Ahsoka, I'm cool with that. Just don't try to cram everything. Don't try to cram everything to finish this show to then be like, all right, let's move on to Ahsoka. Like carry some shit over. Which now it seems like they're definitely probably going to be doing.
Well, everyone's getting a jam-packed and are you okay? So I'm going to forcefully cut you guys off so we can dive into Baby Yoda's cutest moments. Hit the.
It's Baby Yoda's cutest faces.
I would like to see
Sound.
the baby.
A Star Wars podcast.
You know, you make it really hard for me to cut that, Matt.
Just leave it in.
I do leave it in. It's cutting the audio so that
All right, everybody be quiet for 3 seconds for the noise.
No. I did the. I'm telling you right now. People are listening to the episode. I already put the thing in, but
Hi, people listening to the episode.
people listening to the episode. But Matt, you just make it. You do it so fast that I'm like, how can I got to get in there like. Two frames like between
Matt did.
me saying cue the sounder in a Star Wars podcast just to cut it at the right time.
He said the price is wrong, Bobby.
So Paz has the talking hammer and he's like, this foundling, we fought and died for him, and Grogu's just like, huh?
He's like, oh shit, me. That was great. That was great. Yeah, he wasn't really in this episode.
No, the cockpit flying around, he had some fun and cute moments, but I feel like other than that was kind of it.
Yeah, I'm about to say, my man's kind of played a back seat
Shortest
role to
segment
this
of all
one.
time.
There you go.
I just love how pink they make his cheeks are when he's happy now, and it's just like he's developing more emotion. It's just like, oh, he's such a sweet.
Puppets are getting more advanced. They're going to take
Except
over
for the
soon.
salacious crumb ones in that one.
Robot.
No
Will Smith
Kawaki
is
and
kinda-
monkey lizards are going to take
Will Smith's
over.
kind of going through a mental breakdown, so who's going to save us from the robots? We're kind of fucked.
Chris Rock will slap him.
Slap him out of it. Like, snap out of it. Damn, Mike, you should have said Chris will rock him.
Oh, you're right.
It was right there.
Right for the picking.
It was
And I
right
just
there.
fucking left the fruit hanging. Anyways, we're going to cut to the next segment.
A Star Wars.
Ask. I don't have a question for this week, so I guess I'm not going to play this. Did you guys get questions?
I didn't get anything.
Oh, fuck you guys.
Well, you know what?
Question is,
We
how
got-
did you like the Bad Batch, guys? What a
hold on,
finale,
hold
We
on,
got,
all right?
we got so many questions. We can't sort through them all. That's what it is.
Also, I just want to be very transparent here. I wasn't saying fuck you to Yali and Matt. I was saying
I didn't
fuck
care
you
if
to
he
the
was.
listeners. Yeah, you guys need to put questions in here. Do you not want to interact with us?
Do you
I'm
not?
offended. I'm offended.
We're offended.
I want stars in my wars.
And we cover
And
this podcast. We cover most ethnic groups. So you just offended mad people.
it's true.
Just so you
I'm
know.
Hispanic and gay. How dare you?
Yeah.
The nerve.
Yeah.
The
The
nerve. of
atheist
you.
community is very upset.
The nerve of you. If you're a Nazi, just say that.
That might be the alternative episode.
Wow.
Name, just
If you're a Nazi, just say that.
just saying that.
Yikes.
If you're a Nazi, just say that.
You should say that.
All
So your
right,
profile
so
says you're a Nazi?
Matt, Yali, where can they find you? Because we're going to do a big spoiler sounder and talk about Bad Batch, so you don't have to listen to the rest of the episode if you have not watched it, although we're going to go in. Let's do a quick outro for the people who aren't hardcore, and we'll fucking tie the shit up afterwards with the fans who decided to stick around.
You can find me all the same places. You can, places. You can find me all the same places that you can find Mikey. DB4L _podcast with my beautiful co-host and executive producer and super producer on with me on this episode. Team 2 Box united, and it feels so good. Cospalooza, April 22nd. If you are in the tri-state area, or if you just love us that much and want to catch a flight, we'll buy you a shot. If you want to catch a flight, we'll buy you a shot. You just got to show us the airplane ticket. I need proof. But Milk Boy on Chestnut Street, not the South Street location, Chestnut Street, April 22nd, 10 p.m. Be there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be drinks. It's going to be costumes. There's probably going to be some suggested activities in said costumes. Who knows? The world is our oyster. The world is our oyster. You know, come have fun with us. But yeah, DB4L _pod, the DB4L podcast. And then I'm always here with my good buddy Mikey, Darth Plagueis the Wise himself.
say.
Are you okay?
Human Holocron.
A Star Wars podcast.
At Mikey _ the illest. And Yali, please tell the great people where you can be found. You killed her. What have you done?
I'm going to be here sometime, so you can find me here on the Annie Are You Okay podcast. You can also find me at Cospalooza, where I'll be in cosplay. Who I'm going to be, can't tell you.
It's a secret.
It's a secret until you come to
We
find
know.
out. They know, though.
Yeah, who we all gonna be is a secret. It's gonna be fun though.
It's gonna be dope. You can also catch me at Fandom Spotlight, where I do reactions to The Mandalorian, but it's mostly me crying for 30 minutes. So if that's your kink, come watch it.
Our subscriber count just went way up.
Shot through the roof. They said Yali cries. Damn.
I sometimes have cleavage over
They
there.
said ethnic tears. How did you know?
Also at the Game Hers, doing stuff over there.
Hey, shout out to the Game Hers.
And beautifully Yali. It's beautifully then _YLI. If you want to jump in my DMs, you can't. Oh wait, you can't now. Don't do that. You can't do that.
Wah, 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 wah.
and yeah, Annie, are you okay? Cospalooza, DB4L, support all that shit. That's all I got, you guys.
Wow.
All right, guys. Gonna cue the sounder for the Bad Batch peoples. Now that the losers are gone, oh my god, I am a fucking sad batch.
Did we say tears?
Emotional damage. Oh
Speaking of
my
ethnic
god.
tears.
Ethnic tears.
Let me tell you something. Oof.
All right, Hulk Hogan.
Let me tell you something, brother. Oh yeah, brother. Text death.
One of the brothers.
Dig it. Punch. Dig it.
Bone saw is ready.
Nothing I like more than the cream falling off a train track.
He said, I got you for 3 minutes.
3 of the most heartbreaking minutes of tech time. Jesus Christ. I'm just...
Not tech time.
First
Yeah,
off,
was-
He was gonna have tech time until he died.
He was about to smash Wanda Sykes.
he was.
They took
He was
that
gonna
away
fuck
from
Wanda
him,
Sykes.
yo.
It's sad.
They took that away from my mans.
And she's a lesbian, so
They're-
that's a big thing. you know,
Right,
like-
he was gonna change teams just for tech. That's how strong his juice was, man.
Brown eyes.
Brown eyes.
Brown
like,
eyes.
how she could tell behind those red tinted goggles, we'll never know.
Who
but-
knows? The last 3 episodes of the season were just,
Man,
one, beautiful. The animation team continuously steps up their
chef's
game.
kiss.
I don't know how they can make something so stylized look so real sometimes, but it is a testament to that team. They are absolutely killing it over there. The emotional stakes behind everything. I think because we kind of like haven't seen the Bad Batch further in the timeline, it's really easy to, in your head, kind of like write them off. But I just didn't think that we were gonna get a character death, especially on the main crew, this quickly. And if it was anybody, Tech would have been the last person I expected. They did spend a lot of time this season building up his character, and I appreciate that. And it was really rough to see him go, but man, what a line to go out on.
yeah,
When have we ever followed orders?
that was crazy.
Man,
That was
it was
crazy.
wild.
It's like Wrecker just Wrecker, he just
Wrecker.
speaks. He just speaks. He's us. Wrecker is us. Like,
Yeah.
he's our emotional play. Like everything he goes through physically and emotionally in the show is how we feel as fans. But yeah, that whole man, like, this whole season has been crazy, and we talked about this on and off camera. Like, I feel bad for people who like only follow like the main commercial Star Wars shit,
Yeah.
like just the movies and stuff. Like, cause like these, I don't even know if you can call them side shows because they're mega shows. Like, but it's just like these off the main Skywalker path stories. Like, I would probably say I'd put Bad Batch up there with like some of my favorite Star Wars content
It's really good.
of all time. Like, the shit is crazy, especially like this second season. Like, season 1 was great, but like, yeah, like you said, Mike, like these last 3 episodes of this season, and as fucked up as it sounds, I hope Tech stays dead. I feel like him showing back up in like the last couple minutes of this episode, or showing back up in the next season, like totally kills the feels that we went through.
The same thing. I was like, if they're gonna Chewbacca this shit, I'm
I
gonna
really hope they
lose
don't.
my fucking shit, because Chewie was dead for 2 minutes, and then it was like,
Literally.
It was like Chewie.
3 minutes.
I felt the same way. I was like, especially like if you're gonna do a death no one is expecting,
Especially
and I
that
think
way.
the same way like I think in Chewbacca's I think it was the Rise of Skywalkers. Like he was the last person you think was gonna die. So like in that scene, you're like, oh my god, not fucking Chewie. Like it was emotional. Then he's like back. He's like, what the hell? So if they do the same thing with Tech, it's gonna be like, what was the point? Are you trying to see if people give a shit about the show? Like, is this a test? Did we pass the test? Like, because as far as I know, the Bad Batch has not been renewed for a third season already.
They're running out of time, like actual story time. Like
yeah,
literal
that too.
time.
But it's also like as soon as like the Mandalorian, like first season Mandalorian, like halfway in, they were like, yo, we're getting a season 2. You know what I mean? And the same thing with Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett's the only show that hasn't been said to get a season 2 yet. So, and like there's been a gap of time. So there is kind of hope for the Bad Batch to maybe get another season. But to end the season with that particular death and then like the big, we can do spoilers now, right?
Is that the last episode or is there one more episode?
This is it. That was it for the season.
That was the fucking finale?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
finale.
Like if they ended like that, why would there has to be
I thought there was one more episode.
Season.
That's fucking
Disney's, I feel like they're playing with house money because Star Wars just is a machine. But also, it's been the second rated show behind Mandalorian every week that it's
just so
premiered.
great, bro.
It's a fantastic show. I think that it's gone to like darker places than I could have possibly imagined. I just didn't, like obviously the end of Clone Wars like was the same tonally, but
last episode.
I just didn't expect it to continue through the Bad Batch. I knew it would still have like some of these like darker, more mature themes, but not like this. Every single Star Wars animated project I feel like has started off from a more childish perspective and that grows with the main character. And obviously Omega comes into things very young, and we see things get darker, but like they went from if the jump in Rebels is like season 1 and 2 are the more childish stuff, and at the end of season 2 you hit that maturity shift. Omega's maturity shift happens like before the end of season 1 even occurs, and like the all the stuff with Crosshair is just insane. The fact that I was so emotionally charged and Crosshair had like less than 2 seconds of screen time in this episode was shocking to me. I figured that it was going to revolve around them trying to get him out in a way that wasn't so muffed by I saw actually someone on Twitter say like, I'm never going to be able to watch Rogue One the same way again because I'm just going to be blaming Saul Guerrero for Tech's death the entire time.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's
I thought
like,
the same
it's true. It's the damage done, and I'm really glad that they're starting to show how dangerous the way Saul conducts himself is, because we haven't really seen repercussions for it. We've come very close. Like, he literally almost puts the final nail in the coffin for an entire race of aliens in the Geonosians. And yet
he was about to kill two tubes off a lie.
Exactly.
He was like, he betrayed you, bro. It wasn't even me.
Yeah.
He didn't even question it at
two
all.
tubes?
Yeah, two tubes was like, what the fuck? I don't even speak.
Yeah.
Like, how am I snitching? I don't speak.
And it's I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the person who plays him in the younger version of him, because he does an excellent job, and like he's really starting to bridge the gap between him and every time that Forrest Whitaker has portrayed the character, which, by the way, is essentially the Phil Coulson of the Star Wars universe, if you really think about it, because he shows up in fucking everything. He's in Fallen Order, he's in Rebels, he's in Rogue One, he's in Andor. Like, the timeline is fresh for him. He's in Clone Wars and Bad Batch. There's very few things that Saul Guerrero has not touched, and we know where his story ends, but there's a lot more to be told, and he is a really complex and really fucked up character, and I really hope that Andor's not the last we kind of see of Forrest Whitaker playing him, because the repercussions for his actions, I think they speak for themselves, and it's kind of a reminder to the audience that not all the rebels are playing by the rules. And it's
in the title, we're rebels.
You're not wrong, but it's really kind of like fucked, and I wonder, there's a lot more they can do with this, and does it not get back to Rex that like he really fucked the batch like this? Maybe the Bad Batch never crossed.
You fucked the batch.
He fucked the batch.
That's the name of this episode.
Absolutely.
I can't. This is in the spoiler portion. They won't hear it.
Sorry, guys.
But that's that's so crazy that you brought up the Phil Coulson comparison, because I was literally gonna say, when you had just mentioned like the development of this show between season 1 and season 2, it's how I don't remember feeling like, oh shit, like this is such a better show now than what it was. A great show, but it's so much better now. That's the same way I felt with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was fucking ass. Like I was like one episode away from quitting. But like when fuck's his name, when Ward turned bad, spoiler from a show that was like 10 years ago, but when Ward turned out to be a Hydra agent, like everything after that, which was like basically the end of season 1 into season 2, that show was fucking amazing. And it dragged like it's probably went one season too long, but like season 1 was super campy and childish and colorful, and like I don't know if I'm gonna stick around. But then like once Hydra, after Winter Soldier, and Winter Soldier changed the MCU, and then the tone of the show changed. Like that show was amazing, and that's how I feel about Bad Batch. Like I said, season 1 was fun, and Omega was a kid, and her accent, the way she said names was just fucking hilarious.
Hunter, Tick, rest in peace, Tick.
See it? Like the way she talks was hilarious.
Crosshair.
What I tell you last week when that doctor said crosshair like that, I was just like, I think she might be.
Matt called it last week.
I was like, I don't know that way. She said crosshair.
I think that's the benefit of having the internet and people and like writers and producers and stuff in real time get to see like who actually are their audience. Not like in the old way where you just kind of like went by toy sales.
Throw shit at the wall.
Yeah.
Oh
like,
my God, Yali, preach.
Yes, like merch sales, toy sales. Like Young Justice got canceled because they was like, no one's buying toys, and then they recognized, adults watch
cry.
Young Justice.
And they closed every Toys R Us ever. Like,
that too.
No one was buying toys.
But yeah, before the way of determining, I'm gonna say kid shows or like animated shows, let's use that, is by merch sales. Like, okay, are people interested in this? How many toys are we selling? But with Bad Batch, they got to see in real time, like, people who are watching this are grown-ups. Long-term Star Wars fans are watching this, so they were able
kids
to
who grew up with the Clone Wars, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They were able to like then go, okay, we can totally shift the show because those are the people who are watching it. So I feel like that it had the benefit of it. I would say slightly the same thing happened with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too. Like they got to see it in real time, which is how I hate to like jump off.
The movie people are watching TV.
Yeah, like exactly. So they were able to shift the tone of it. So I think that's what the benefit of the Bad Batch got. Like they were able to say like, okay, we can cater to an older audience because they've grown up with these shows already. We can get darker with the themes. We can go a little bit deeper, and it's not going to offend anybody, or we don't have to worry about somebody's mom going, this is not appropriate for, you know what I mean? So yeah. I appreciate that. And that's the other thing, because this show is now kind of catered to older people. And I would even say in the first season, like Omega's character was not meant to be like, we need a girl stormtrooper, or we need a girl clone of Jank. Like it was just like, she's there because she serves a purpose. Like her story means something, not because we need to like tick off a box of diversity. And then in the second season,
I feel like at first it was a box.
It probably was. It probably was.
Like, I mean, it's the entry point
didn't feel
for
like
younger
it.
viewers. It's the entry point for younger viewers, and that is a pivotal role to play in Star Wars specifically, because the stories are meant for kids, but kids grow up fast.
Kids
you know what I mean?
grow up,
Like it's almost like
that's...
it's a reflection of the times too. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like I have nieces, and it's like, holy shit, where did this go? Matt, you have daughters. I'm sure every day you probably say that to yourself, like, what the fuck? And when did you guys get to where you are? Yali, you have a son. Like, it's crazy.
I have a tall ass bearded 13-year-old. I'm like, where the fuck that is?
You can grow better facial hair than I can.
Absolutely. And then like the ending with like the second girl twin or girl clone or whatever, like that didn't feel forced to me either. Like that just felt like a natural thing, like that part of a story. Not the same feelings like people got when there's like, shit, Rey, a girl Jedi, oh my fuck, oh, like it didn't feel to have that same feeling. It was just like, no, like this is just a strong
also,
female character developing overall.
Fourth time we saw her, I think it might have been the fourth time.
The doctor.
Emery Carr.
Yeah, she
I think
showed
it
up
was
a bunch.
Yeah, she was
She
like
showed
in
up
the
a
first
bunch of
season a
times.
couple times. So it's
Yeah,
like
they're just kind of just like there.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Mel
yeah.
Tantis,
Holding-
like
holding-
part of the operation.
Yeah.
Holding a tray. She didn't say much.
Sure,
She
sure.
was
But
there.
now it's like planting the seeds, right? An ever-growing wonder to
you'll
a
see me
beautiful
next
tree.
season.
Like,
I'm
no,
on
I think this will definitely
Invade.
get renewed for sure.
It has to. I didn't know this was the finale. I swear there was like one more episode left.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
finale.
One
Dropped a
1,000%.
two-parter to break my heart and fucking into a
1,000%
million
has
pieces.
to get renewed.
Also, I will say
that
this:
messes that
this is probably a longer discussion than I can right now, but I feel like long-form storytelling just has such a different way, I think, of like impacting our emotions. Because ultimately, like, you know, movies are great, and I really enjoy the Star Wars films, but something about like the long format Star Wars storytelling affects me and other people I know in such a different way. Like, I've watched every single Star Wars movie, and I don't think I've ever gotten misty-eyed once. I've watched all of the animated shows now with Rachel, and I can confidently say, and I don't know if she'd wear this as a badge of honor, but she has cried during every single one of them now. At different points, for different reasons. Obviously, there are some sad moments, and, you know, ultimately, it's called Star Wars. Like, we're going to lose characters from time to time, but it just hits harder when you've, like, gone through this journey. You see them grow, and movies are great, but I love Rey and Finn and Poe, but
Do you?
how much I do, but how much do we grow with them? It's not a ton, you know? And that's kind of why I'm also like, give us another trilogy with them. Like, I don't care. Like, if that is the plan, if the plan is to
So
bring
you
back
think you
Rey
didn't
and
cry? You didn't cry when Leia like died? Like, I'm not trying to fit the spoiler
in-
part.
well, I
in
suffer
real
from
life.
I suffer from toxic masculinity, and
Okay,
my
I'm
body
sorry.
won't allow me to shed tears. So instead, I
Okay,
bottle
because
it
I
up.
know
I just don't have a soul.
That's
Like
No,
I told
Carrie-
Matt
when
to
Carrie
text
Fisher
me last
went,
night when he
I
finished
cried.
the episode, and I got his text message that he finished, and I couldn't even muster up the strength to text him back because I was still wallowing in sorrow. So,
Yeah, but that's
the pain
that's,
is
that,
real.
That is a really good point, Mike. Just in terms of like a movie, you're in there for like an hour and a half. Like sometimes you might, oh shit, didn't even caught a tear. Then when I be like, yeah, but these shows, I ain't going total aside, but we're all nerds here. The episode of My Hero where class 1A got Deku to come back, I fucking cried like a bitch, bro.
Oh,
like
I haven't gotten
I'm sorry. Spoiler alert for. That wasn't like a. I didn't say, yo. When I tell you, I was.
Yali's crying
Yo.
on the podcast right now.
When I tell you, I was in
That
here
shit hurt.
balling, dog. Like, I was in here balling.
Yeah.
But to your point, and it's crazy, and it's kind of to combine you and Yali's point. I feel like maybe like 5 years ago, maybe like when Force Awakens came out, I feel like all the media was like, all right, millennials are out the door. It's time to like cater to these Gen Zers. Like, then they started doing stuff for them. The instant gratification era, the TikTokers, the Viners, the 15 seconds. You got to catch my attention, and shit was flopping. Like nothing was catching on. TV shows were getting canceled left and right. And like you were saying, Mike, like. Then it was like, damn, like all these flash in the pan, short attention span kids, we nothing's sticking. Like we're not able to, like, we're not selling nothing. We're not selling no merch. We're not able to do spin-off sequels, this and a third. So somebody was just like, hey, them 90s kids are still watching TVs. Like the millennials are still watching TV. Let's start doing stuff for them again and see what happens. And shit took off. Like I remember when Girl Meets World came out, the first couple, maybe like the first half of season 1 was garbage. Like I was just like, Boy Meets World is one of my favorite shows of all time, so I'm gonna thug it out because Ben Savage, who's running for Congress now of all things,
It's honestly not that surprising when you know who's
at all. When you think about it. Yeah, but I was just like, Ben Savage, they're all in it, so I'm gonna watch it because they're in it. But like the first half of season 1, or maybe all of season 1, I don't really know when the show cut off, was clearly just trying to bring in new people. Like they had like little like the old characters were just there, like they were just kind of like set pieces. But then the show wasn't catching on, and then they literally made it Boy Meets World Part 2. Like it essentially became like Corey and Sean's show. They brought in literally everybody from the old show, and then all the new characters were just kind of like existing around the nostalgia. and the shit took off, and the show ended up going like 5-6 seasons. And I feel like a lot of stuff right now is playing off of that, because we're the generation that has the patience. Like, we want long-term storytelling. Like we were saying, we don't want you to remind us of shit that happened last season. We want to see it and be like, oh shit, I remember that. Like, don't show me in the last time on, and then
because
put a hint that's about to come up again.
Cameo wasn't for new people. That was for people who fucking watched the shit. And like,
exactly,
it wasn't. Then they didn't have to lead it up or anything. They just panned, and I was like, oh my god! Like, that was.
You know what else was great about that cameo? Yali, sorry, I did not.
No, go ahead.
Please continue on your point.
No, you're great.
His cameo fit better than any of the forced cameos I feel like we've gotten in so long. Like, I don't know what it was, and it's like, Zeb it just makes sense. Okay, he's a rebel who's helping out the New Republic. This is a good character trajectory for him. He would be there. It's perfect to put him in that spot. And like, obviously telegraphed Luke being the one who gets Grogu was probably pretty obvious, but it feels like some other cameos in, like, not just Star Wars, but even other nerd culture things just feel like forced from time to time. So this one, I feel like
up until the point that you saw the X-Wing, though, we all have like, I wonder who they're gonna do, because I feel like there was that moment like, they're not gonna bring Luke back. Like, it was like they're not gonna do it.
Yeah, Luke wasn't my first guess at all.
That wasn't mine either.
I was like playing with the timeline, like, who's still alive? Like, okay, maybe it's this one's that one. Like, Luke wasn't definitely first on the list. But I'm excited to see, like you said, Bad Batch is kind of like running out of time in its timeline that it's been set up. But I hope that it does get a third season, because now they know.
You have to.
They can go darker. They can go
There's
heavier.
a story to be told.
Yeah.
And I feel like, as much as I would love for, I'm lying. I don't want to see Tamar Morrison in a Hunter wig. I don't want to see that shit. I do not want to see the Batch in live action. Like, I've been all for
Omega maybe. But
yeah, no, I feel like you can't have the Book of Boba Fett and not have his whole sister. Well, now 2 sisters now. The siblings dropping out of the sunroof. I feel like Omega would be a dope person to bring back, because she doesn't have any other ties outside of the Bad Batch. Like, you could let her free in the universe to do whatever, but I don't want to see Tamar pull double, triple, quadruple duty and play an older version of the Batch.
I think the only clone I really want to
see
see him play is Rex. I think that's
that would be fire. But yeah, I don't want to see the wig. I don't need to see him with pale paint and be Echo. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see none of that. I don't want it. I don't want it. So I feel like the dope thing about the Bad Batch is that I kind of put them on like the same pedestal that I put Andor. Like, it's a fire that burns bright. Like, these people aren't supposed to ride off into the sunset. Like, they're supposed to go out with a bang. Like, that's like the appeal. It's like a car crash, like, waiting to happen. Like, we're just waiting to see the shit. It's just like, all right, well, y'all aren't around in the current timeline, or even like past current timeline, so you must get off. So I feel like Yali was saying, I feel like season 3 could go super dark, and we could like knock off all of the Batch. Maybe one of them can survive.
I feel like the box is opened, right? Like the 2-box
like
crew.
Andor's sister.
Yeah, exactly. Like Andor's sister, she opened that box, and now there's no putting it back in the box. Okay.
Talk about characters we care about. The Andor sister's box. Most character I care about, and I never even seen her.
we still don't know what she looked like. We gonna take a poll. Who do we think is the actress that's gonna play Andor?
Oh my god, who's gonna be Andor's sister? It's gotta be it's Ana de Armas.
Oh,
Ana de Armas. It's gonna be her. Whose box is most popular right now as Ana de Armas? It's gotta be.
I could see. Wait, is Andor's sister older or younger?
That's a good question.
I think she's
younger.
Older, I believe. Yeah.
I think she's older.
Flashbacks. She's younger. Remember,
she's
he
younger.
leaves her behind.
All right. Well, what's the actor who plays Andor? What's his name? I literally know
Diego
it.
Luna.
Diego Luna.
He's fairly older, like an older gentleman. I could see Michelle Rodriguez is cast as everybody. she shows
you
up.
think Michelle Rodriguez would sell her box? You crazy?
I mean,
I don't think she would.
The streets is crazy.
The streets is crazy. But did you see Ana de Armas and Blonde? She did a lot of things in that movie. I could see her.
I saw her
her
in
boxing
Blonde.
space.
I miss Blonde. I saw Blonde though.
Excuse me for being Hispanic. Podcast is racist. Star
Getting me
Wars
canceled.
podcast.
Thanks, guys. The Star Wars podcast.
We are a multi-ethnic group of people here.
Oh, that makes it okay to make fun of
Check
my.
off all the boxes. I'm not racist. I'm accentist.
Or it could be
Duh.
what's her name? I would love it to be like the girl who from Scream, not Jenna Ortega, the other one, her older sister.
Fuck. She was in that show Just Breathe on Netflix. I know
And then-
exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, and she was in Vita. She was in
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Heights.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Oh yeah, the show you played the main girl Vanessa on the Heist. I don't remember what her
so
name is.
she could be
Yeah, I
good
can see
too.
that.
But I'm
can
going
see
Ana
that.
de Armas because of the beauty,
That'd
and
be
I would
dope.
pay for that box. So
Well, I guess
45,000
we'll-
credits.
You know, in the future when Bad Batch season 3 inevitably
some yellow
happens,
biscuits.
because I really feel like it's going to happen. We'll have to cover it here on Anaryoke because I feel like we
I'm
neglected
here.
it the entire time it's been running concurrently with the Mandalorian. I know that not everyone's. This is your ringing endorsement if for some reason you stuck around and haven't.
Watch-
My
Watch
question
the
to you
Bad
guys
Batch.
before we like have to end this. So the Bad Batch is over. The Mandalorian's about to be over. The next show to come out is the Young
Ahsoka.
Jedi's on
Oh, shit,
May
you're
the
right.
4th on Disney Junior. Because we love Star Wars, are you still going to watch it? Even though you know it's definitely for the kids.
Yeah, probably watch it still.
Matt?
Yeah, I'm
We probably won't cover it. Well, maybe we'll cover it. I don't know. Maybe we'll cover it. I don't know.
Well, after the season ends, we'll do a season wrap up.
Right before
Yeah.
the Young Jedi.
I heard that they were YouTube shorts, so maybe. Oh,
It's on
Matt.
Disney Junior. It can't be YouTube
up?
Shorts.
We're going to cover this show, but we're also going to finally make me sit down and watch Jedi Temple Challenge, and we'll do all the YouTube shows in one big show.
let's get it.
Let's do
I'll
it.
watch
Okay,
that. I'm
it's
with it,
happening.
bro.
That's it. Star Wars
down,
YouTube.
Y'all cover
We're covering
Visions?
you.
Y'all should cover Visions too.
Oh, there's plans for this, and we're gonna bring in a little friend from DB4L Pod to talk about Star Wars Visions. It's not you, y'all. It's Trav.
I know. I'm excited. I wanted to hear Trav's thought on it. Everybody knows I'm gonna like complain about the whole time.
I've been trying to get Trav to watch Star Wars for a little bit now. So Visions is the perfect segue for
Trav is always late to the cult meetings. he just finished Game of Thrones recently. he always
Last
comes
10
on.
years?
Yeah, like last year.
yeah. It'll only be 20 years before it.
It's super fast. But
in 20 years from now, he'll be texting me and be like, "They killed Tech," and I'll be like, "Yeah, man, I know."
Bruh, it's okay.
no, he gonna be like, "Yo, Lord of the Rings, am I right?"
That's Sam. He's a great guy.
that's Sam. I like the cut of his jib.
He gives him that really gay look where he's like, "Oh, Frodo, just brick in my mouth."
He says, "Share the load." That shit meant something totally different than what we thought.
Even the trees walk in those movies.
Just tell Frodo to share his load.
Share
Freak
the load,
boy.
Mr. Frodo.
Share the load.
You have been listening to an extra extended Annie, Are You Okay?
I wasn't trying to cape it.
A Star Wars podcast.
Fucking Sam Wise.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for
Star Wars
sticking around for our shenanigans. Thank you. We've had a lot of fun here tonight, and boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
I'm in a stew.
Potatoes. What's potatoes, eh?
Use ruins it. Stupid fat hobbit.
I reckon raw and wriggly. And we out.
We out.